Afternoon guys, so I'm outside, the weather is rubbish again, but I just thought I would talk polarising filters, which I have one here, which I use on the RX10 Mark IV, which is a Freewell one. Very, very good bit of kit. It's magnetic, so basically you have a small ring that screws onto your lens, and you it just sticks to it, and then obviously with a polarizer you need to rotate it to get your reflections change and then disappear. So it works really, really well. You also get a lens cap as well, which is magnetic, but I've also got, for the RX10, I've also got a 10 stop ND filter, which you'll see. All in a little hard case here. Oh blimey, that wrecked the exposure, didn't it? Didn't like that. Is that better? And it all comes in a little hard case, like so. Use this for a long time on the RX10. Always have it in the bag if I'm taking it with me. Unless I'm going really lightweight, then I'll just leave it at home. But it's really, really helpful. With the A1, I've obviously got different lenses. So I've got the 14-24 Sigma, which you can only really put filters in the back of it, which are like little slot-in ones. I'm not sure if they do a clamp mount, which basically goes around the front of the lens and you can drop in square ones. I'm not sure, someone probably does, but I don't know. You've never used it. But for cars and things like that, I don't generally use a really wide lens. I normally use the 35 or the 135. Luckily, the 35mm Sigma f1.2 is an 82mm filter, as is the 135G Master. So here you go. So from a K&F concept, I have the filter kit, and in this box I have, let's chuck that down there, a second ring. So basically this is just the ring itself, and it's the magnetic part. Screw that onto the front of the lens, and then your filter will then attach itself. So where I've got obviously two lenses the same, which is really handy, I needed a second one of these. So these are $18.99 or £18, and I think that was 46, something like that, for the kit, which gives you one of the rings, the actual filter, and then the lens cap, which I never use. But the filter itself is really handy, which will then go in that little pouch, which I have the Freewell stuff in. So mixing brands, I know, but I purchased these. I didn't get given them by K&F, but the Freewell one I was given as a gift from them to try out and just see what I thought of it. So the Freewell one's brilliant. I use it on the RX10 all the time, like I said. But these ones I haven't actually used yet, so I thought I would come outside. I know the weather's not brilliant, but there are still reflections on the car, as you can see, on the windows and stuff, depending on where you're stood. And I have got the curviest back windscreen in the world, so that's always got reflections on it, whatever happens. So it'd be interesting to see how we can sort them out. So I've got the kit here and the ring. So I'm going to stick this ring on to the 135G Master. It's very low profile. That's the lens. Very, very low profile. So it literally just screws on. If you can get it to go on there. Try not to cross thread it. There we go. So you just got to sometimes go backwards a bit until it sort of goes on. And these ones I'm going to tighten up quite tight, because end of there they're going to stay on there. And now I can literally plonk in the filter. Oh, so that's the lens cap, you can see there, and then you literally pull the lens cap off and the filter is left on there. It's now starting to rain, but now because it's magnetic you can literally rotate it. That way you can reduce your glare. So I'm just going to, I've already got the other one on my 35mm as well. The only thing is obviously your lens hood still goes on there, but you can't, with the lens hood on, you can't adjust the filter unless you put your hands down inside, and it's a bit of a struggle, so you're better off shooting with no lens hood on. but it's really handy now, so I can literally just go, boonk, take it off, plonk it onto the 35. So if I'm out doing car stuff or anything that's got lots of reflections, I can now swap between those two lenses. Those are my two normal everyday lenses that I shoot with: portraiture, car stuff, and whatever motorbike stuff in studio. I've never used a polarizer in studio, but where I'm shooting with motorbikes and stuff like that, I'm wondering if that's something that would be beneficial. So I'm gonna actually have a play with that next week when I'm back down there shooting some motorcycles, because their paint and everything can be very shiny, especially in studio. So it could be interesting. Yeah, there's a cat. So there we go. I'm gonna go and shoot a picture of, well, actually, I wonder if, I don't know, hang on, let's wondering, oh, it's definitely changing it. You can see it live on the camera there, adjusting stuff, that's for sure, but then it might be confusing the camera at the same time. So anyway, I'm going to plonk it onto the correct lenses and snap a couple of shots of my rear windscreen, which is curvy, and see how it looks. So here it is on the 35. It's so handy because it's so annoying having to have either step down rings or a whole nother set of filters. So this, ideally now, I can buy some NDs and stuff like that to go on both lenses, which I use a lot of the time. So it's going to take a couple of shots. So you can't see from there, but my back windscreen it's about a 3-inch drop in the middle and then goes up like that. So it's like a curvy thing going on. In fact, I'll video this so you can kind of see. Let's drop the ISO down a bit because that was ridiculous. There we go. So just rotating, we can now see through my car back windscreen, he says. Let's drop that aperture a little bit. We can see the dirt, and there we go. We can actually bring up the glare, so we've basically got the clouds in reflection, and then bring the reflection down to a minimal look. So yeah, that's how well it works, and as we change angle and stuff, we can then adjust it as we need to do. So yeah, it works rather well. So that's with the 35mm, and it should be exactly the same with the 135, obviously a little bit closer. Just going to take a couple of shots. In fact, you can see my wing mirror straight through there, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to swap lenses now onto the 135. So that's the 35 Sigma. Literally one of the best lenses I've ever owned, this lens. The 135 G Master as well, absolutely incredible. Bit of kit. Absolutely love it. As much as I love the big wildlife stuff, lenses and things like that, the 135 G Master and the 35mm f1.2, they're brilliant for what I'd love to do. You know, a lot of portraiture. This in studio is incredible. 35 in studio, to be honest, is really nice, but obviously it's very wide. But the 135 works really nicely. So I'm going to shoot a side shot here. Just going to rotate it. We can get a shot that looks like that, or we can have it much cleaner. It looks through the window, and then I'll take a shot through the angles of view, which then you can, blimey, that's a huge difference. And obviously this is just glass, obviously when you've got paintwork involved. And obviously video, you can see the change live. There we go. So we go round and round and round. Works really, really well. So yeah, depending on what you're doing, even your back brake lights, obviously you can adjust stuff to get rid of reflections. Side reflections on the thing there we've got going on, so we can literally bring that right down. Well, that's actually really effective. There we go. So let's try and change my focal point. There we go. So now it's on the steering wheel. So there we go. Massive difference there. So the importance of a filter, and you don't need to own many filters really. So this as a polarizing filter is fantastic to have. Like I say, used for reflections, brings out the skies in better colour, and things like that. Water, obviously you can get the water looking nicer and you can see through it pretty much. So there's a huge benefit of using a polarizing filter a lot of the time, depending on what you're doing obviously. But it makes a huge difference in a lot of things. Obviously slows your shutter speeds down very slightly, or exposure if you're in auto, but you know, you can adjust obviously in manual. It's going to stop a little bit of light down. I'm not sure how much difference. It's like having sunglasses on basically at the end of the day. But having the magnetic ring on there, and literally you can just swap it straight over, no messing around, makes so much easier. And obviously with the K&F stuff, very good quality, not hugely expensive, which is really nice. And now I can basically order a couple of NDs if I want, or whatever I need to go on there, and I know that 2 of my lenses, which I'm not going to sell, fit. So that's really, really handy. So in a economical purpose, it makes it cheaper in the long run, because I haven't got to buy filters for both, or you know, going, oh, I can only use this lens with that filter, and not spending the money on elsewhere. So at least I can use multiple lenses now as well. So really cool. Anyway, I'm going to go have a look at these, and I shall catch you later.